right, guys, this is the fourth video in our installment of where do we want to zero our LPVO, low powered variable optic. All right, so we've done 25, we've done 36, we've done 50. Now this is 100. 100 yard zero, where does it play? Where's it gonna hit on the target? We're gonna hold at this red dot for every range that we're going to, and we're gonna find out exactly where it hits. And because what our goal is to find the perfect LPVO and 16-inch barrel with your ammo. Is it possible for us to be able to hit all the way to 400 yards, but also hit relatively great groups, easy to shoot?
What are we trying to do with this? And you know, the other thing, this is a very popular, as we all grew up shooting, you know, rifles or what have you, 100 yards, you're going 100 yards, when we've always heard that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out when we are not doing a Kentucky windage or Kentucky elevation, and we're just shooting point A and point A impact as we go through those different ranges, as we saw in the other installments. You guys got to watch them, because it's very interesting results and unexpected, really, when it comes to what we've been taught, what we've tried, what we've done. And so it's just this is gonna be a good test. I think it's gonna be fun. All right, guys, so we just did the 200 yard shots after zeroing at 100, so you won't see any 100 yard shots in here. We did that on paper, so there's no need to shoot the dummy. This is a very popular zero, so there's a lot of that. You can see we got 3 bullet holes right here. Actually, outstanding group for 200 yards. You know, a little low, as expected. Right in there, about 3 inches low. So 200. Stand by for 3. All right, guys, so if you weren't already expecting this, real no surprises. Actually, kind of surprising it's on here. So we got 1 round right here at 300. Just for the sake of science, we're gonna back up to 400 and shoot that, but any bets on where it's gonna go? Stand by. All right, guys, so as you can see, there are no 400 yard holes in this guy right now, and that's to be expected. So just as a bonus, what we did was, not expecting much here, shot it, didn't hit none. What we took our 100 yards and we held up here, we'll let Trey talk about when he comes back, we basically held head height, and you know what? I still don't see any bullet holes. So yeah, that could be a little bit of wind in here. It is picking up dramatically, but he is the god of the wind, so he's pretty good at figuring that out. So yeah, still no bullet holes in there. So it's pretty telling on what I think this zero is going to be used for.
Right now, it's like 95 degrees. It's hot. I mean, we are getting sunburned. Yeah. It's hot.
It's hot. The wind it just died down.
The
right
wind
now,
just died down.
When you were shooting, 15 solid.
Yeah. And so wind was kind of difficult for me to keep on target this time, but I started working it. So again, using the Vortex Razor 1 to 10, the further out we get, the little bit more difficult it is to actually figure out where it is we're holding on the target. Still doable. I'm not saying it's not doable. I wouldn't change it because I like it. It just makes it a little difficult having that outer horseshoe rail. Yeah. But so Mike, where was I hitting here? What was the progression?
So obviously we didn't shoot the 100 because we had zeroed there. Now, one thing I think we probably should do is go and shoot 50, just to see, are we way high? You know, because what you can see here is 200 as expected, a little low. Well, yeah, we knew that. 300, got to be a little bit lower. 400, just off the target. And then, you know, where were you holding when we said, all right, well, what if I were to hold on the target? So where did exactly you hold? Because we still didn't hit. That was at 400. You know, were you in here? Were you up here?
So what I did was I held my reticle, I held the line even with his nose, the reticle even with the other line even with the outside right here. I squared it, so I was essentially holding right here, hoping that it would drop me in here.
Somewhere in here. I mean, so that's, for you guys, we've been holding on this armpit to keep it center mass. So we've been shooting about that much wind, and we're nicking, and then correct over. So he's having to hold out here in space, you know, and that's really, really hard to do. and almost impossible on a moving target. You know what I mean? That's leading a moving target that's moving. So
where does the 100-yard zero come in handy? For me right now, I'm saying the 100-yard zero comes in handy if you have a bullet drop compensator that you can just walk up with your scope as you're shooting.
absolutely. Yeah.
The other ones, so we talked about 25, 36, 50, and now 100. You guys need to go back and watch those videos because the other ones will teach you what the bullet's doing at different zeros. And so where we learned with this one is if you have a BDC, this is a great option.
Well,
right?
and really with the BDCs, it will depend on the ammo that you're shooting and whatever that BDC is. It may be a 75 to make the rest of those stadia lines, those drop lines line. It may be 125, it may be 200. And then I think the key with that is so that you know what you're gonna actually happen at 100. Because as, you know, if you were to zero at 200 here, 100 is gonna be here. Where's 50, you know? So
yeah, so
that's
that's dependent on your BDC.
Yes, absolutely.
But for a lot of BDCs, they're 100 yards.
100 yards.
So if they're 100 yards, this is great to be able to do, but you just notice at 100 how the progression continues to go. There are other zeros that do other things. You got to go back and watch those videos. There is no wrong answer. 25, 50, 36, 100, all of them did something a little bit different. And we'll kind of recap that later, but this is a great option if you have BDCs or if you understand it, or there's one zero that we did that the further away you got, the lower you needed to shoot. With this zero, it plays into our brains that the further away you get, the higher you need to shoot, right? So it just matters how well of a marksman you are that you understand the bullet drops inside your scope, or if you're dialing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you guys watch this whole series and you need to spend time and understand what we're talking about in the other ones as well, and I think we'll do a recap video of all of them, talking about kind of not what's our favorite, but what we would use each one for. But this is kind of to show you, you know, you need knowledge, you need training, and then you need to go out and practice or experience before you're ever proficient at something, right? So this is the knowledge base. We're going out here and showing you on this gun, this ammo, this is what it's doing. And then, you know, you got to get out and you got to practice with your own stuff, and then getting the training to help understand what that is. We're not saying you have to do it through us or whatever, but, you know, to figure out, do I want to hold higher? Do I want to hold lower?
If you don't go out and actually do it at the distance, it doesn't matter. We absolutely learned in the very first one that we did, this is what everybody says, and when we did it, it did not work like that for us at all.
Yeah.
And so we have now learned that, you know, what this rifle, this bullet, this configuration does on all of these
and
different
how
zeros.
You want to use your rifle too, you know. If we're talking, like you said, the stadia lines or an exposed dialable turret where you can dial in your elevation, well then, you know, having to be able to go back to that known zero, it could still be dialed at 20, you know, setting it at 25. You would think that's really odd, but maybe that's perfect. Oh, now I only have to dial 1 mil. Now my stadia lines, my drop lines up better. And like you said, just because you zero here and you have an ACOG, for example, it's been used forever, and oh, I bought the ammo that the Marines have used forever and it's supposed to be a BDC for this, you need to go out and verify it, because this shows you that it may not line up too.
Yeah, so guys, look, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Thank you for watching. Check us out on Patreon. There's a lot more behind the scenes on Patreon. Go back, don't just choose one of the zeros before you watch all of them, because everything is just a little bit different, so watch them all, then decide. Thanks for watching AOLS Defense. Catch you next time.